Hello out there, all you beautiful internet people. I'm feeling spicy today because Netflix is in its death throes. That's right, Netflix has died this year. It's choking up and giving out its last gasp, its last little rigor mortis. So while it's in this Valdemar-esque state, I figured it would be worth doing a retrospective on one of the worst properties Netflix has ever put out. That being Stranger Things. In particular, I'm going to analyze what is quite possibly the worst aspect of the Stranger Things franchise. The obnoxious Stranger Things merch that Stranger Things puts out. I've always been highly critical of Netflix, so to see it collapse and fail is truly satisfying for me. I'm really having just a great time watching this terrible company that's made terrible decisions for so long finally give up and die. And I find it especially ironic that a company which once touted itself as the hot new shit on the block and drove Blockbuster into bankruptcy is now being driven into bankruptcy by a host of competitors who have caught on to Netflix's game and are out competing it like there's no tomorrow. I think this is an incredible schadenfreude, and I'm just here for the ride. You know, I used to feel very alone being the one person who refused to watch Netflix and didn't have a Netflix subscription and just fucking all around hated Netflix. I guess I'm like, Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense, except instead of seeing people who are about to die, I see companies that are about to die. And it really doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell that Netflix was eventually going to just not be able to do it anymore. Like, yes, you can't hire complete amateurs off of Craigslist and expect to put together a show that's going to compete with network television. Oh, no, you can't charge $150 a year, or more than that, because there's 12 months and you charge $15 per month. Nobody wants to pay that. You pay $15 to go watch a movie on the big screen. Who the fuck wants to pay $15 to watch The Kissing Booth on the small screen? Netflix just makes the worst possible decisions. They're the clown of content. The last franchise they have to milk off with any sort of brand recognition is Stranger Things. And of course, Stranger Things has always been a brand with a lot of brand recognition. It's a franchise. It's up there with House of Cards and Orange is the New Black in terms of Netflix's most recognizable shows. The problem with Stranger Things is that it is an insult to speculative fiction, to science fiction. Even to people who like the 80s or like films from the 80s, Stranger Things is a condescending slap in the face. As someone who actually enjoys speculative fiction, tales of demons and the weird and uncanny and alternate dimensions and all that sort of thing, I find Stranger Things' attempt to appeal to me utterly pathetic. It's the kind of show that you just want to see sputter out and go out in a tiny little wisp of smoke. That's how utterly devoid of meaning, themes, heart this thing is. It's derivative of quite a few films of the 1980s, most notably E.T., The Goonies, and, of course, Stephen King's It. The parallels between the Stranger Things and It are a little too close to be coincidence, I would say. Fictional town, group of youngsters uncover these paranormal happenings under the surface. It's not written by Stephen King, and it doesn't have a bomb sauce character like Pennywise. It has the Demogorgon, who looks like a tulip. He looks like a fucking flower. Am I supposed to be scared of that? I'd like to see a crossover, like Freddy versus Jason or Alien versus Predator, except it's Pennywise versus the Demogorgon, and the Demogorgon gets the shit kicked out of him by Pennywise, who's flipping awesome. I can't get enough of Pennywise, and It in general. But the parallels cannot really be denied here. Then again, we're not talking a show which wears its influences on its sleeve as much as it just proudly displays the plagiarism front and center. Look, you like E.T., you like The Goonies, well, here's Stranger Things, except instead of having incredible sets like One-Eyed Willie's Fantastic Pirate Cove, E.T.'s spaceship, rather than having amazing characters like the crooks in The Goonies or Keys from E.T., we have flipping Hawkins High and the Hellfire Club and other such cringe names and properties and iconography that Stranger Things slaps you in the face with. It's like, look, we're as iconic as E.T., we're as cool as The Goonies. Yeah, fat fucking chance. The Goonies is one of those movies that really ages well. And I don't even like 80s movies. It's not even my favorite decade of cinema or anything. But if you pop on E.T. and then you pop on Stranger Things, it's like, holy shit, there's a difference. Because E.T. isn't trying to fucking take advantage of your shitty nostalgia. It's just trying to tell a compelling story. And Stranger Things is not capable of that. What's Stranger Things got? It's got the Upside Down? Oh wow, it's just like the normal world, except everything's moldy. Okay, great, mold grows everywhere, cool. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of mold. I've seen mold, you know. A loaf of bread gets moldy. Shut up. Anyway, just for the heck of it, I figured I was going to go down some of the most ridiculous merchandise Stranger Things has to offer, because Netflix is really trying as hard as possible to milk Stranger Things. It's really only recognizable franchise at this point, and really get everyone buying the merch. And you might say, oh, you know, E.T. had merch, The Goonies had merch, you know, but I think, like, the difference is just that those are movies that feel like they were made with, like, passion and care, and Stranger Things just seems like a desperate attempt to get all those flippin' millennials and, you know, kind of late Gen Xers, you know, the 40-somethings who are like, I was around in the 80s, I was around during Reaganomics, baby. And that's the sort of attitude I find completely insufferable. Now, I don't think having a movie with an 80s aesthetic is all that bad. If you have a movie with a really good plot and really good writing and really good direction, I think an 80s aesthetic can lend itself wonderfully to a narrative. A great example is Panos Cosmatos' masterpiece, Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage. Then again, that movie has a completely original plot that isn't even close to derivative of E.T. or The Goonies. It's a completely new story that brings new things to the table with new characters. That's some icon shit, you know? Jeremiah Sand, iconic fucking character. So, I'd never really fault that. Now, does Mandy try to pander to your nostalgia a little? Yes, quite possibly. But it's a very original film, and that's something I don't think Stranger Things is capable of. I would never in a million years consider Stranger Things art. I think it's more apt to call it a product, because that's just how Netflix treats its shows, as products, not as creative endeavors, not as important works of art, not as statements on society. They're products to be shipped out and shoved out and get a label slapped on them as fast as possible. You know, call me cynical, but it's a terrible show. It has been from day one. I've smelled the disgusting putrid stench emanating off this thing. And today, we're just going to have a little bit of fun and have a look at the official Stranger Things store. Buckle up.
Okay, so to start things off, we have the incredible Monopoly Netflix Stranger Things edition, featuring the amazing Carrie ripoff 11 here on the front of the box, looking like she's about to take the most spectacular dump of her life. Fans will enjoy this Monopoly game inspired by Season 4 of the Netflix series Stranger Things. Ships within 1 to 2 weeks. Product features: Go Beyond Hawkins, The game board takes players beyond Hawkins to new locations featured in Season 4 of Stranger Things. Players add cassette tapes to locations. Cerebro and Hellfire Club cards add excitement to gameplay. Gosh golly gee, you mean I can go beyond bumshit Indiana? You mean to tell me that the entire state of Indiana exists within the Stranger Things universe, one of the most detailed world-building experiences known to man? Golly gee, you don't say. I can add cassette tapes to locations too. Aren't I lucky? Vecna's mysterious grandfather clock. Rolling the clock symbol on the die means Vecna has opened a gate to the upside down. Players must spin the clock to find out where danger is lurking. Themed Monopoly tokens. The tokens are iconic symbols from the show, such as Hopper's police truck, a Demogorgon, Hawkins High School crest, a slice of Surfer Boy pizza, and Dustin's baseball cap. Iconic shit, right? Who can forget Hopper's fantastic police truck? It's a police truck. You can also play as Dustin's baseball cap. Who wants to play as the Scotty dog or the thimble or the boat when you can play as Dustin's baseball cap? You know, I think this Monopoly game is a huge improvement over the original normal game of Monopoly. Who hasn't been playing Monopoly and thought, you know where I want to be right now? I want to be in the upside down. What do you say we crowd 20 cards around this board and make this excruciatingly long board game even more cumbersome and elaborate? Beautiful. 10 out of 10 stars for this amazing product, which will totally change your life and add a whole new dimension to Monopoly. The first time I looked at this board and all the spaces on it, I thought there was a location called the Cheese House, but I guess it's called the Creel House. I know, right? Iconic. Okay, that was just a little appetizer. Up next we have something even more amazing. The Magic 8-Ball Stranger Things edition. For $12.99. See answers inspired by the supernatural Netflix series Stranger Things with a limited edition Magic 8-Ball toy. As with the classic version, start by asking the ball a yes or no question, then turn it upside down. The replies appear, floating in a spooky red liquid, and range from the positive to negative, from "it is decidedly so" to "very doubtful." When seekers want to open up the curiosity door, they can find direction from this novelty toy that's almost as mysterious as the happenings in Hawkins, Indiana. It's the fastest way ever to seek advice. Makes a great gift for collectors and Stranger Things fans. Colors and decorations may vary. I really like how they leave out the first quotation mark before "it is decidedly so" here. That's how you know you're dealing with real pros who take their product seriously. I sure want to open up the curiosity door. Look at this box. It looks like how the Magic 8-Ball logo would have looked back in the 80s. You remember the 80s, right? It's not the 80s, but somehow this box looks kind of like it's from the 80s. And on the back, you have the official logo of the Hawkins National Laboratory. So, you know that something spooky is afoot in Beer Fuzz, Indiana. Ask a question, count to 11, then turn it upside down and let the answers appear, floating in a blood-like liquid. See the answers, either positive, negative, or mysterious, like, "better not tell you now." Well, I'll be darned. This Magic 8-Ball has a mysterious, blood-like liquid. It's totally different from a normal 8-Ball, which has a mysterious blue liquid. This one's red. And the answers are positive or negative or mysterious, like "very doubtful" or "better not tell you now." This is so Stranger Things themed. I can totally tell that this is a Stranger Things product with answers like that. Ask again later. Ask again later? That's a Stranger Things reference. You remember the 80s? Don't be a mouth breather. Go on a curiosity voyage and seek fun direction on life's perplexing questions, supernatural or not. I know, right? Mouth breathers. Who the fuck uses their mouth for respiration? Haha! You fucking mouth breathers, get out of here. Only we super giga chads watched Stranger Things on Netflix. Okay, are you ready to see something that you need to buy? The Energizer Stranger Things Demogorgon Hunting Flashlight for $20. The limited edition Energizer Stranger Things Demogorgon Hunting Flashlight is not only a practical and powerful flashlight, but is also the perfect collector's item for all Stranger Things fans. This LED flashlight harnesses enough power to see in the dark for up to 80 hours and is ideal for hunting the Demogorgon at night. 2 alkaline D batteries are included to power this bright LED flashlight. With 150 lumens, this flashlight lights up to 90 meters, so you can brighten up Hawkins National Laboratory, even the Upside Down. You don't say I can light up both of those places? I thought they weren't real, but if you say so, I can even light up the Upside Down with this. Amazing! Energizer brought back their classic 80s look to create this retro silver flashlight. Equipped with laser-etched detailing, a classic yellow push-button switch, a built-in ring hanger, and a water-resistant ribbed body. Well, it seems like they brought back everything except the type of lights that would be used in an actual flashlight from the 80s, because LED lights weren't commonly used in flashlights until the 90s. To all my flashlight enthusiasts out there, you'd know that LED lights are piss poor, and really only suited for indicators on microwaves and toasters and the like. And if you want a flashlight that actually has any range or is actually bright, you get one with an incandescent bulb. This D-cell flashlight prominently features the official Hawkins National Laboratory logo, so you know you're getting the real deal. Well, I'll be darned. I sure am glad I'm not getting those fake imitation Hawkins National Laboratory flashlights. This is the real shit, except no imitations, okay? There is also Morse code on the metal flashlight. Can you crack the code before it's too late and the Demogorgon gets you? The hidden compartment of this large flashlight holds a secret message. You'll never believe what it says. Simply turn the hook on the end cap counterclockwise to reveal the hidden compartment. Discover who this flashlight belongs to with a special character signature. Be sure to tune into Stranger Things Season 4 on Netflix to catch this Energizer flashlight in action. You can trust Energizer for reliable performance in any situation. Well, that's great. I can tune into Stranger Things Season 4 on Netflix and watch this flashlight that could not have existed during the time period in which the show is set. I love that attention to accuracy and continuity, and would expect nothing less from the geniuses at Netflix. I also really like how the flashlight has Morse code. That's such a hard code to crack. You'll never be able to figure it out. Who can figure out Morse code? And man, oh man, is it great that this flashlight has a secret little hidden compartment with a scrap of paper in it. Oh my gosh, this is such an amazing value. Wait, here at the bottom there's an image that spoils who the flashlight belongs to. It's 11's. Dang, now I know who the flashlight belongs to. I hope she finds it, or something. Oh my gosh! Look at where it says Demogorgon hunting flashlight. The word Demogorgon is upside down. Like in the Upside Down. Hey guys, remember Stranger Things? This is a Stranger Things product, so stuff is upside down. Topsy-turvy. Flipped every which way but loose, baby. Oh my god.
Earth, America, Indiana, Hawkins.
Oh man, it's a VHS filter. If you know one thing about me, it's that I fucking love VHS filters because they always look so real. Those algorithmically generated little bursts of static that flit across the screen every couple of seconds are completely authentic to what an actual VHS tape looks like. I especially love how, in this frame here, they tried applying the old-fashioned VHS aspect ratio to the 16:9 frame, but their VHS filter extends beyond the aspect ratio. Really professional, top-of-the-line shit here from Netflix.
A growing patriotic community and a shining example.
Oh man, this looks so fucking period accurate right here. You got Herbie the love bug in the back, you got the girl with the tacky plaid sweater, and her boyfriend with the leather jacket. It was the 80s, you know, and then right here on the right we got the DeLorean driving up. It can't be that everyone who is alive during the 80s but says that Stranger Things is an accurate depiction of the decade is terrible at remembering what the decade was actually like because they were 5 or whatever, and are more prone to favoring the 80s in a positive light than someone such as myself who was born long after the 80s and therefore looks at all decades prior to when I was born with a neutral perspective. Really fucking fantastic job from Netflix all around. I feel like I've just stepped into a goddamn time machine here.
Today, Hawkins is taking another step into the future with the brand new Starcourt Mall.
Ah yes, people in the year 1985 would absolutely see shopping malls as something brand new and futuristic, considering shopping malls had already been commonplace in nearly every American city for a decade prior to the 1980s. I hate to bring up a really good movie that was made in the 1980s and presents the 1980s in an accurate, grounded fashion, but we all remember the scene in Back to the Future where Marty and Doc are at the Twin Pines Mall and Marty gets confused because he's at a shopping mall and he's like, "Hey Doc, are we already in the future?"
Starcourt Mall has it all.
Aw man, remember Radio Shack, the extremely useful company that sold things like radio transistors and computer parts at a great price? Before everyone became fucking boring and wasn't interested in toying around with cool electronic shit anymore and just sat around all day and watched Netflix? Netflix sure is showing us the past they single-handedly mutilated by offering every movie and TV show on the internet for a $15 monthly fee, and nearly monopolizing the entire entertainment industry. Stay classy, Netflix.
Don't forget, a state-of-the-art food court.
Oh yeah, I remember how back in the 80s every food court in every mall was labeled with a giant gaudy neon sign that said, "The Food Court," in case you couldn't tell that the place where all the restaurants were was the food court. Only 80s kids will get this clever reference, but back in 1985, the Burger King logo was slightly different, to the point where it is recognizable, but it was just a little bit different, and that made Burger King so much better. Nowadays, their Whoppers taste like cyanide and horseshit, but back in 1985, when their logo was slightly different, oh man, that was the taste of my youth, baby.
Just an escalator ride away.
If this isn't the 1980s, I don't know what is. Who could forget the hilarious pizza head fad where you wore an entire pizza on top of your head like some kind of eccentric rascal? I sure remember the 80s. Nobody wore normal clothes. It was all just constant neon and Memphis group shit. And the minimum wage earning employee at the Orange Julius down at the Starcourt Mall was a jolly entertainer who juggled the oranges around like a regular harlequin. These days they just make you your drink and give you your change. The times certainly are a-changing.
Featuring America's
Oh man,
favorite place to
here
eat.
it comes! Here it
Scoops
comes!
Ahoy Ice Cream Shop.
Ahoy. Ahoy.
Oh man, this is so utterly magical. It's bringing a tear to my eye. I remember Scoops Ahoy like it was yesterday. You'd go down to Scoops Ahoy and you'd get the delicious UHS butterscotch. And there was like ice cream and it was like sailor themed. Oh my god, I'm breaking down because this is so poignant. I remember it. What happened to Scoops Ahoy? Did they go bankrupt? They sued? I forget. What happened to it? What happened to Scoops Ahoy, the beautiful sailor-themed ice cream store? Were those items not expensive enough for you? Do you want to completely blow your wad on even more gaudy and excessive crap? Well, this is just the thing for you. The Stranger Things Mixtape Necklace for $150, or 4 interest-free payments of $37.49 with Klarna. Bring back the 80s and all the nostalgia that comes with it. The Mixtape Necklace is crafted from sterling silver, multicolored enamel, and diamond accents to keep the party going, even when things start to get paranormal. This product does not qualify for returns. Please note that this item ships in 48 hours of being ordered, so we cannot honor cancellations after 48 hours. Well, I'll be darned. Why buy a normal cassette tape for like 50 cents at your local thrift store and get access to up to 120 minutes of high quality audio when you could spend $150 on this fake cassette tape that doesn't even play? Genius! You know, if you have $150 to buy shit like this, you probably have $150 to just buy a bunch of sterling silver, but don't just buy sterling silver. Buy sterling silver in a fun, quirky, kitschy little shape. It's a cassette tape. And as we all know, cassette tapes were only used during the 80s. It's not as if they were introduced all the way back in the early 60s and are still used today by people who actually give a shit about audio quality. They were only around for a 10-year span. The Ronald Reagan years, baby. It was the 80s, and you kind of have to be an 80s kid to get this reference. There sure are a lot of film posters out there, but why get the Jaws film poster or the Evil Dead poster when you can get this amazing Stranger Things x Butcher Billy Papa poster that says to your friends, "I have issues"? Wow, this poster looks extremely great and cool, and if it was hung up on my wall, I'm sure everyone would know what a cool, awesome auteur I am of the cinemas and the fine arts. Notice the incredible tagline here. He's only 1 kill away. Papa. I don't know who Papa is, but I'm so intrigued by this amazing poster. Like, wow, this is breathtaking. Oh, the Star Wars poster. Get out of here with that shit. Silence of the Lambs. Nah, thanks. I want the Papa poster. Yay. Wow, here's a real steal. the official Stefan Meyer print Demogorgon edition 111. For $250, you can get this art of a Demogorgon that looks like it was doodled by a 12-year-old. Oh my gosh, the Demogorgon is such an iconic character. I mean, it's named after a Dungeons and Dragons creature. They couldn't even come up with a name for their own monster. They're just like, hey, remember Dungeons and Dragons? It was the 80s, baby! It's also great to know that the fun is back. I was wondering where the fun left to, but now the fun is back. Wow. I'll absolutely pay $250 for this amazing masterpiece. Heck, why not hang it in the Louvre? Add it to my cart, baby. Or you can pay for it with 4 interest-free payments of $62.50 with Klarna. The Netflix store certainly is considerate for our wallets, aren't they? Is your taste in music so pathetically limited that you only listen to songs from the last decade unless they're featured on your favorite Netflix show, Stranger Things? Well, here's just the item for you. Stranger Things, music from the Netflix original series. The 12-inch album on vinyl. For only $24.99, you can get a randomly selected hodgepodge of extremely mainstream and generic 80s hits. Hey, it worked for Suicide Squad by stuffing a popular song in every 3 minutes to convince you that the movie was good. Now you can buy the Stranger Things soundtrack and convince your friends that you're into some really niche, obscure 80s shit that nobody has ever heard of, like Whip It by Devo, Talking in Your Sleep by the Romantics, Hazy Shade of Winter by the Bangles, Should I Stay or Should I Go by the Clash, and of course, Africa by Toto. You could listen to all these songs on much better and classic albums that are actually cohesive arrangements of music. But why do that when you can get this tacky record collection for $24.99 featuring epic box art of all 4 main characters looking up at a sky that's about to take a diarrhea all over the mysterious town of Scuzzball, Indiana. Hey, I know that during the 80s nobody actually cared all that much about New Coke replacing Coke Classic, and the phenomenon has mostly been covered completely in retrospect. But since we're in the 80s, let's talk about New Coke. Doesn't that sound exciting and interesting? Hey, you know, I prefer this sugar water over the old sugar water. This is the new carbonated sugar water, and it replaced the old carbonated sugar water, which tasted so different from the new one. Ugh, you disgusting heretic! How dare you prefer the new one over the beloved old one? I mean, I know that if I was an actual teenager from the 80s, I wouldn't get invested in this kind of thing, considering Twitter doesn't exist yet, but I hate New Coke. I hate the new thing with every fiber of my body. I want classic Coke. I want classic Coke. Hey guys, I know this is kind of off topic from this hilarious running gag we've got going on, but I'm listening to Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush on my Walkman. You know, it makes about as much sense for me as a teenager in rural Indiana to be listening to Kate Bush as it does for me to be listening to other adult contemporary music like Billy Joel. But we've got to stuff in as much music as possible that makes people think they've discovered something while still being comfortable enough not to offend any of our audience. You're not supposed to like that Coke. You're supposed to like old Coke. Coke Classic, Coke Classic, Coke Classic. You know, I can't get enough of Coke. Coke, it's the real thing. Aw, come on, guys. We're wasting time here. We've got to go save Papa from the cheese house. Hey, you know, As benevolent Netflix-ordained ambassadors of all 1980s culture, we've been responsible for bringing back several popular 1980s phenomena, such as the Magic 8 Ball, the California Raisins, and AIDS. Why can't we do the same for New Coke and put New Coke in every single store in 2022 for an extremely short time so people can finally shut the fuck up about it?
Yeah, New Coke, New Coke, New Coke!
I only want classic Coke, the sweet taste of diabetes guzzling down my throat. Mmm.
For the taste of it, Diet Coke.
Hey, do you want to wear something that signals to everyone how niche and obscure and quirky you are for liking that niche obscure shit like Netflix's Stranger Things? Well, here's the Waistpack Saint Hellfire for only $40. Wow, this looks so cool. I bet if I wore this, I would be cool and popular. On the zipper, there's a Dungeons and Dragons dice. You can't roll it or use it in Dungeons and Dragons because it has a massive hole on the top and the bottom, and that kind of defeats the purpose of being a Dungeons and Dragons dice. No pockets in your outfit? No problem. Gear up for battle with the Stranger Things Waistpack Hellfire, complete with generous main compartment, front utility pocket, waist strap wings for added comfort, and totally core patches fresh from the members of Hawkins High School's Hellfire Club. Wow, a patch that says Demo Bat. This looks so fucking cool. If I wore this, everyone would shake my hand and declare me the President of the United States, because I would be a member of the Hawkins High School Hellfire Club, the most totally rad, bodaciously awesome bunch this side of the wrong side of the tracks. Yeah, if I wore this, nobody would assume that the upside down logo is a printing error. This looks so fucking fresh and cool. Man, I can just see all the punk rockers and all the goths just swinging this epic swag, man. This is so totally core. Oh my gosh, it's the Hellfire Club. It was the 80s. You have to be from the 80s to get this reference. I know what you're thinking. This merchandise can't possibly get any more awesome. That's what I thought too, until I came across the Timex Camper X Stranger Things 40mm watch for the low price of only $89, or 4 interest-free payments of $22.25 with Klarna. Do you want to watch where all the numbers are upside down, but you can't turn the watch upside down because that wouldn't work either, so you have to hold it right side up except all the numbers are just upside down, making it really hard to tell what time it is? Well, inconvenience yourself with this fantastic $89 Timex Camper X Stranger Things 40mm watch. The next time someone comes up to you and asks you what time it is, you'll be able to say it's Stranger Things o'clock because you won't know what time it actually is, because you literally cannot use this watch because it's so fucking confusing. Amazing! I'm going to buy 25 of these with Klarna! Oh boy, now we're getting into the good shit. Take a gander at this incredible Hawkins Class of 1986 iPalette / Mac X Stranger Things for $45, or 4 interest-free payments of $11.25 with, you guessed it, Klarna. Wow, this looks so fucking cool. I bet if I had this makeup palette, everyone would instantly give me the key to the city and declare me the emperor of the universe. Show off your school spirit with this eye palette that takes cues from the hallways of Hawkins High. Not Ridgemont High, not even Sweet Valley High. We're talking Hawkins High, that extremely iconic property that everyone knows. You know the Green Tiger, 1986, Mac X Stranger Things. You know what this is. It's Hawkins High, baby. Are you 30, but you want to buy this eye palette with the Hawkins Tiger logo on the front, living vicariously through an inaccessible fantasy of a past that never really existed where jeans were the only type of pants? Wow. It features a mix of Dazzle Shadow Extreme and Powder Kiss Soft Matte eyeshadows in 8 fun shades, allowing you to represent the class of 86 however you choose. These saturated colors come encapsulated in limited edition packaging, inspired by Hawkins High of Netflix's Stranger Things. Not Ridgemont High. Hawkins High. Hawkins. 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 Please keep repeating the name of this town over and over again until it becomes pop culture, please. Do you understand yet? It's the town from the show. We have 8 incredible eye palettes that are going to make your face a dazzling visage of beauty. We have Surfer Boy Pizza, Benny's Burger, Melvold's General Store, Dingus, USS Butterscotch, Hawkins High, Starcourt Mall, and the Arcade Color. What? There's no Scoops Ahoy color. This is a fucking outrage. I want my Scoops Ahoy face. I want my face to be colored in the amazing hues of Scoops Ahoy, bitch. I'm not going to buy this one. They've offended me. This Mac X Stranger Things palette is cancelled. Do you eat cereal? Do you watch incredibly niche, obscure, cool shows like Netflix's Stranger Things? Well, then this box of Cheerios cereal is for you. Notice how the Cheerios word is upside down. And look at how in the middle of the O, that's not an O, it's a Demogorgon. Oh my gosh. Wow, look at this iconic box art. There's 11, the Fantastic Carrie ripoff, holding her arm out like she's about to do the Macarena. Remember the Macarena? It was kind of an 80s thing. You kind of had to be in the 80s to really get it. Seek and find the Russians. Can you find all 11 Russian soldier symbols hiding in the mall battle scene? Fuck yeah, fuck the Soviet Union. I mean, what'd they ever do besides launch the first satellite into space, launch the first man into space, and launch the first woman into space? The Soviet Union was a disgusting country founded on disgusting ideas, and good on Stranger Things for perpetuating this outdated stereotype of the Soviet Union being backwards and empty. Russia sure has been a lot better since Putin took control of it, am I right? Wow, the front of the box says I can win a $100 Starcourt Mall shopping spree. Except, I don't think the Starcourt Mall is real. I think it's just from the show. So I'm not sure how I can win a $100 Starcourt Mall shopping spree when the Starcourt Mall doesn't exist. Does Netflix just send me $100? Maybe they send me $100 of Cheerios. Remember malls? They were kind of an 80s thing. You kind of had to be in the 80s to get the mall. You went down to the mall and you went into the shops and it was like there was Scoops Ahoy and you could get the delectable flavor of the USS Butterscotch. Remember it? It was the 80s, baby. Yeah! And man oh man, the sight gags and clever Easter eggs that screw your mind over just keep on coming. Notice how the side of this Cheerios box mentions the delightful fictional town of Hawkins, one of the most developed and rich fictional towns in all of literature. Mayor Klein presents the Hawkins 4th of July Fun Fair. Wow. This looks so incredible. This is so immersive. It's like hot shit. I feel like I'm in the show. What's real anymore? What's fake? I don't know. I'm scared. Am I living in the upside down? Hey, considering our fictional town already has a fictional pizza establishment, why the fuck are we going to Domino's? I mean, we have a choice here. You naive chunk derivative. There is no choice or free will within the parameters of this show because every Netflix original is designed to appeal to the widest demographic possible. And in trying to please everyone, we end up pleasing no one, which is why we've partnered with the most generic, safe, disgusting pizza on the planet, Domino's Pizza, because we're really averse to taking risks down here at Netflix. We're facing bankruptcy, so we'll do absolutely anything to raise our bottom line a little. I mean, what are the odds of someone on the internet who's actually funny and talented taking all this spineless drivel and memeing on it relentlessly in a giant review? Wow, would you look at that? We're in the 80s and the Domino's Pizza logo is slightly different. Now, for a limited time when you use the Stranger Things app, you can get the Domino's 80s retro pizza box and show it off to all your friends. It looks slightly different from how a normal Domino's pizza box looks. What? Boy, oh boy, I can't wait to get my delicious 80s themed Domino's pizza with a delicious can of new Coke. Hey, I think we're in the upside down right now because this is the cleanest fucking Domino's I've ever seen, and in the normal world every Domino's is covered in a thick layer of mold and tentacles. Hi there, I'm a market-tested, reasonably unattractive white male in his late 20s. You two are the first people to come into this Domino's in like 3 years. We haven't had human contact in so long. Yeah, what up, amigo? We want 7 frickin' Domino's pizzas with all the trimmings, baby. Holy hell, I never knew that our small town of Dawson's Creek, Indiana had a Domino's pizza. This adds so much to the narrative and world building and lore of this incredible show. We sure are breaking new ground here by going to Domino's Pizza, the most exciting pizza restaurant in the multiverse. Yeah, this is almost as immersive as Scoop Ahoy, the fake ice cream parlor with the UFF Butterscomp. Well, hot jimpity, it looks like our electrical system is all fucked up and it's starting to flicker on and off. Probably because we haven't paid our electric bill in the 3 years that nobody has been buying our disgusting pizzas. Hey, you know, just a suggestion, but maybe the cause of all these power outages is the giant fucking mad scientist facility, Hawkins National Laboratory, that's responsible for every single paranormal or supernatural incident in this whole fucking show. Are you kidding? The source of these bizarre goings-on could be any one of the extremely fleshed out and nuanced locations in our small little town of Buzzcut, Indiana. Such as Milfald's General Store or Spoop Ahoy. Okay, I just feel kind of like if this was a coherent narrative, we already would have broken into Hawkins National Laboratory and busted up all their shit so they can stop creating interdimensional hell portals. Just a thought. Don't be a mouth breather. This isn't a coherent narrative. This isn't It or The Goonies, okay? This is Stranger Things. We are the feeding tube extending right down Netflix's diseased esophagus. They will milk us and keep us alive for as long as possible, for the next decade, for the next 2 decades, until this show is set in 2003, and we're all 27. Don't you understand? That's just the Netflix original formula. That's the future. Get used to it. That's the future. There aren't movies anymore. There's not normal broadcast television. There's only streaming. This is how how it's supposed to be. This is how the future was supposed to be. Why isn't the future being how we want to manipulate it into being? Why isn't the future like Netflix? Why can't the future just accept Netflix? Hey, I just thought of something really weird. Why is this show called Stranger Things when there's nothing even remotely strange or unsettling about it? I mean, it's quite possibly the most formulaic by-the-numbers show to ever exist. Shit, you're right. We're at a fucking Domino'S pizza right now. We're not exactly Twin Peaks. What do you say we investigate this strange mystery? Okay, hombre, you're on. But not before we rescue Papa from the cheese house. And certainly not before we eat the cheese on top of this delicious, mouth-watering, sumptuous Domino'S pizza. Now available with Noid-themed packaging. Remember the Noid?
New Coke, new Coke, new Coke, new Coke.
Can I really order Domino'S with my mind?
Okay, I hope you enjoyed your trip into the upside down there. I can't stand Stranger Things, So that was the Stranger Things store. You'll notice a few things. For one, they try and stuff in as many names as possible. They try and stuff in the Hellfire Club, Hawkins High, Scoops Ahoy, Surfer Boy Pizza. This is the thing. It's never going to be as fucking iconic as E.T. It's never going to be as cool as it. It's never going to be as cool as Stand By Me or The Sandlot or the million other fucking shows that Stranger Things shamelessly just regurgitates. There are a million much better, cooler examples of media set in the 80s with kid characters or, movies in the 80s. Plenty of good movies from the 80s. There's plenty of good movies in general, and to think that people actually watch Stranger Things and see it as a good example of anything, speculative fiction, storytelling, is a frightening prospect. And hopefully, by making videos like this, where I kind of pull Stranger Things down a peg, recommend some actual good movies, I can hopefully encourage you, the viewer, to maybe cancel your Netflix subscription and buy some movies on VHS. I actually only found out about all this terrible merchandise because, for whatever reason, Netflix refuses to put Stranger Things out on VHS, even though it would be perfect, given that the show is set in the 80s. I've actually said time and again that if Netflix put Stranger Things out on VHS, I would be willing to buy it and watch it, but they don't. I was made aware of their merch store because they put out a terrible fake VHS set with a giant VHS that isn't a real VHS with 2 DVDs inside, because an actual VHS tape is actually too small to fit 2 DVDs inside. But they're essentially brainwashing people into thinking VHS tapes are larger than they actually are, and I find that patently insulting. I think the Stranger Things DVD box set that's disguised to look like a VHS just goes to show how little respect Netflix has for quality media preservation. And I think they're kind of stuck in a dilemma because on one hand they're trying to appeal to as much nostalgia as possible. On the other hand, they're trying to still brand themselves as the cool new upstart even though it's been 10 years since they killed off Blockbuster. So putting out anything on VHS would essentially be an admission that VHS has potential and merit, and they can't do that, so they put everything out on DVD like a bunch of inexperienced troglodytes. This is what I'm going to ask of you, because a lot of people accuse a lot of things of nostalgia baiting, but I think Stranger Things is the best possible example of nostalgia baiting. It's purified cringe. It's distilled cringe. It's cringe straight from the tap. It's the most nostalgia-baity cringe show on Netflix currently, and to think that there's probably going to be another season is an embarrassment. Some people have accused my series, The Hypnagogic Archive, of taking advantage of the past, and a lot of people deride analog horror as a genre because they claim it just feeds on nostalgia. Well, if you think that, you clearly haven't watched the Hypnagogic Archive because it's very critical of nostalgia in general. It's a deconstruction of people who are so pathetically caught in the past that they just keep referencing Ghostbusters, just like the average Stranger Things fan. Of course, that's only one of the themes inherent to the Hypnagogic Archive. There are a lot more, and I could go on about that for hours, but if you want to support actual filmmaking and you want to support actual really good content, then buy the Hypnagogic Archive on VHS, or don't even do that. Just buy something on VHS. Buy The Goonies on VHS, buy Gremlins, buy E.T., buy whatever Stranger Things rips off, and you'll have a much better time. You'll have a much more fun time, I guarantee it. Why are you watching Stranger Things in 2022? What about this show is still catching so many people? Oh my gosh, it's the Upside Down. I don't get it. It's just like the normal world, but moldy. What's the appeal? Stop. If you dress up in a Ghostbuster costume, stop. It's 2022. Anyway, this has been a little rundown of the Stranger Things merch. Just thought I should share that for the heck of it, because some of it just truly unbelievable. Really needs to be seen to be believed. That's gonna do it for this video. If you like my content, buy my comics, because they're way better than the dumpster refuse on Netflix. Anyway, sayonara, suckers. Oh no, it's a Demogorgon.